So now we're gonna get into we're gonna get into the next topic. It's kind of an elephant in the room because people don't like talking about it a lot. Let's talk about the correlation between African culture and American culture. Why is there such a big disconnect? Like, why don't they identify with us and why don't we identify with them?
That's a hard one. Okay. But I feel like, I have a lot of American friends. Plus, I was raised here.
Absolutely, me too.
So I can honestly say we have slight differences. I would say more of a cultural difference.
Right.
Like, it's more of like certain things we do culturally, like American people don't really abide by or they don't hold as strictly.
I honestly think that people don't appreciate it because I feel like we've kept the same practices for such a long time that we appreciate it.
Right.
But when you don't have anything in place to go by, it's kind of like they're different. It's not a good look. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing.
And they were taken away from, a lot of their culture. A lot of African Americans that were raised in America, I feel like they were taken away from their culture because of generations of what they had to go through. So it's kind of like you can't blame them
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they don't know their culture.
Right.
When it comes down to it, but at
the
the
same
time
time,
it's
they have
American
their own culture too,
an American culture, yeah,
which I appreciate every day too,
Right,
Because
yeah.
I identify myself in
As American.
certain situations as American as well.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it has to do with history too. You cannot relate to something you don't know.
Right.
So it's good for you to actually go and see the similarities and things that, like, you have like Africans who like here better than Africa,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they relate more to America than Africa. So it's just history. I think it's good to, if you're a reader, if you a person who like to like go dig into stuff, go for it. But history will make sense.
I'm just happy that back in the day they used to make fun of me for being African, but now it's like a cool thing,
Right.
Yeah, we all African. I mean, if you black,
I'll never forget
consider yourself African.
Right.
Seventh
The
grade,
smell
this
jokes.
this dude had called me an African booty scratcher.
Yeah, but
Me
it's
too.
just
Like,
ignorant.
and that, I mean, just think about growing up like that. Like, they legit, just because I'm African, I smell different, I look different.
Definitely smell different. Smell like onions.
I mean,
sometimes.
that's what the show is here for. I mean, you see like black. You see, some people don't like black, but if you portray it in
all
a
black.
In a good way. Right.
Absolutely. People are gonna enjoy it and
try to integrate it into their part in their life. Absolutely.
they have princes in Africa, princesses. So
what are y'all's
here
thoughts
too.
on the new Coming to America movie? I personally, I say keep the first one because the second one's always whack.
Usually.
Usually,
I feel
like how they're bringing all these old movies back. It's not really like the first one.
I think it's gonna be like.
And I know that's my brother-in-law, one of his favorite movies all time. If y'all follow him on IG, last Halloween, killed it on Halloween. He dressed up as what's his name?
Akeem.
As
Akeem.
Prince Akeem, killed it.
Snap.
Yeah, but what y'all think about the new one coming out?
I feel like it might be like a Wakanda 2 in a way.
Wakanda too.
No, like basically
Black
like
Panther?
because the way they portray is like he's gonna come back, look for his long. Like
What's the storyline on it? I haven't even been keeping up with it.
Is it going to be similar to the last? I mean, is usually they kind of, or it might be like the next generation of the last.
It has to be
like the
good.
kids of the.
Who would y'all want to see play Hakeem in the next one?
Eddie Murphy is gonna play it.
Oh
Again?
no,
Yeah.
He's gonna be a grandpa this time.
Yeah, I think he will be.
Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He don't even look like Hakeem.
I don't
like
care.
sexy.
He's just so fine. He's
There
so
y'all go.
fine.
Fine.
I don't care. He played the role very
Hey,
nice.
so I'm
If it was up to me, it'd be Michael Blackson.
so basically,
It's on.
I did.
I would
I
have
did.
him be the assistant.
I actually did. I did see some information about that. For what I understand is, they play with different types of ideas. But for what I understand, where they're at right now is, they bring it back most of the cast. At least that's what they're attempting to do. And Akeem is now the king,
Oh.
but he has a
Okay.
lost child back in the States. Something to that
Yeah.
effect. And so they're
Let's
going
have
back
that
into the
fair.
States to kind of reconnect with I guess, a child that's either grown or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's something like that I read. Honestly, initially, I felt like Congo P Jr. In
That's
terms
me,
of,
guys. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I felt like him in terms of like, you know what, Why bring it back? But you know what? Now I'm kind of digging that type of stuff because I mean, at the end of the day, maybe I'm an old grouch or something like that. But I mean, you know, flavor ain't the same.
It's not.
So where I used to be, leave this back. Nah, just bring it all back. You know,
Right.
Bring it all back. You know, the music y'all want to sample all day, sample it because it feels better than the shit that y'all doing right now. You know?
True. That shit
Right.
trash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to revamp, whatever like that. I get something that soul that I got back in my 90s and 80s, and now I'm on for that.
I think it's just for the nostalgia, really.
Yeah, but I think it's actually going to be a better product than the product that's been coming out. And I think what's going on in terms of our culture is that because we're not as connected in the actual culture, it's hard for us to go ahead and make the movies that we did. So we taking back from that. Because back then, all these people that was making those movies, they had their own energy and synergy. It's something different that was going on back in that time frame that allowed for these movies to come out. It's not working in the same way. So, I mean, if we got to go ahead and reboot a couple things, man, go ahead and reboot it. I'll watch it. I'm going to show up. And I hope it's good. Honestly.
It's good because if that synergy helped it come out before, it's coming out again. So it must be the same synergy.
Yeah, I hope they bring everybody back. From what I understand, Eddie Murphy going to do about 4 or 5 different characters. Hopefully Sammy do the same and shit. I'll be out there with my popcorn.
Absolutely. Anybody else from the crowd want to add anything?
One of the biggest statements that was made was they were asking, are you going to actually use Africans this time? And the only person that Eddie did mention was Michael Blackston. So he may be in there.
But we all African, man. Fuck what they say.
We're all African.
We are.
And they have like
Whoever
nice
plays-
African talent now, and we have like the social media.
Yeah,
Out
social
there,
media
so
definitely changed the game.
It changed
for a
the
lot
game
of people.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Everything.
I think sorry to disrupt
No,
you.
that's fine.
I think it's kind of dope to kind of bring kind of the old stuff back, just to have, you know what I'm saying, the younger generation kind of see, you know what I'm saying, what we seen when we grew up. You know, I think like now it's kind of, you know, things are kind of getting kind of watered down just because, you know, the ideas aren't, you know, as, you know, kind of brilliant as, you know, as it is right now. They're kind of running out of, you know, ideas for movies now. So now, you know, I would agree, why not, you know, bring some old school stuff back and kind of revamp it and, you know, give it,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
bringing
a
back.
new-
I got
a
the
new
hookup
look.
too, man.
Give it a new look, you know, with the, you know, the movie production that they got now with the, you know, technology, you know, it'll bring it, you know, back to light in a good way.
We'll see what happens. I'm not sure it's gonna be better than the first one, but let's pray, guys. All right, so personal favorite topic of mine that I'm sure we're gonna get a little pushback left and right: dating while African. What's the better preference? Were you brought up you have to date someone from your culture, from your country, or did you have the option to pick whoever you want?
I had options, and I still have.
You still got options?
Yeah, you do have options.
How many you got? Starting lineup?
No, I'm not lining anybody. I don't need anybody right now.
Oh, okay. She's
I'll
single,
be
y'all.
somebody.
Everybody out there.
But I'm
y'all
just
is single.
saying, like, the way you stated is like you have to date somebody from your tribe or whatever. I'm not into that. I don't
Wow.
agree.
You don't want to keep the culture alive?
I mean, you can keep it, but you know, not everybody in your tribe is good. You know, they have
Right.
some bad
That's true.
people. No.
And it's such a small tribe.
This is true.
But with me, I feel like my mom has always been open about, like, she's okay with me dating anybody because she knows I'm not in that generation. It's a generation gap.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she knows, like,
absolutely.
well, we're in America.
Absolutely.
So, of course, she's either going to marry an Ethiopian if she finds one that's Americanized like her, or she's going to stick with an American, which she can identify with more.
Do a lot of Ethiopians end up with Ethiopians too? I've always wondered that.
A lot
Like,
of
are
people,
you
and
allowed
it's
to
funny
date
'cause that's the question I
Somali,
always get. Like, you guys
Somali,
don't marry American
Eritrean,
people.
Eritrean?
But
Are you allowed to do that too?
We are, yeah.
Okay.
See, if Eritreans are a little more strict, but now because of our newfound, you know, I guess we're like back together.
Is
you
there
can
like
say.
ever a power struggle too? Like, do they like? Is there like a caste system? Like Somalis first?
No.
Okay.
No, it's
So
just
everyone's
cultural
kinda, like, equal?
differences. Well, with Eritrean and Ethiopia, it's not a cultural difference. We're all the same, with same cultures. It's just language that's different and certain beliefs that are different. and that's what really caused the divide.
Gotcha.
But now they're kind of back together because of other divisions.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it came back full circle.
Yeah, so now we're like amicable. We're very friendly. We're brother and sister.
So what
mode.
about you, Mr. Peef?
Well, just so you guys know, I married someone from my tribe, from my country. Shout out to my wife, Tisha.
Yes,
If you
shout
see
out.
this, just know I'm faithful.
Hey.
So you
I
wait
mean-
to the show to
We're looking right there.
If we was on the conference call, I'm gonna always shout out my baby. But
Exactly.
I mean, for me, it was always just I wanted my kids to have the same blood I had. You know what I'm saying? Me coming up, I wouldn't be the person I am today without the way my parents brought me up. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you
I
feel
think-
like there's a cultural difference? And then, like, do you have any kids?
Yes, my daughter Stella. Shout out to you. Daddy loves
Do you think there would be a cultural difference if you were to marry an American? That's what mainly my
I
parents
dated
would say.
a lot of Americans.
It's like they won't
Everyone
understand your culture.
that I brought home, it was always no, like Matumbo. No, no,
No,
no,
no.
no.
I mean, like, think about it. It kind of like reduces your pool too, because I mean, that's like, I'm happy for you. You find somebody
Thanks,
that is
Joanna.
exactly from your tribe, but it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
I think you need to find somebody who matches your personality.
Absolutely.
So it can be Congolese, it can be Cameroonian or American or French.
What about the Ghanaians? Do you guys stick together too, or?
I'm
you
not
guys-
from Ghana. I'm from Cameroon.
My bad. On est ensemble, no?